Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 38 of From the Heights podcast. And obviously, we're not in the Heights or we're at the studio. We are in Elkhorn, Nebraska.
Yes, sir.
And so today's everyone, we got a very special guest joining us. He's a devoted husband, a respected business owner, a growing entrepreneur who built his name through leadership and vision. But most importantly, he's a West Side legend. And he's also the first CEO we ever had on this show. Everyone, please welcome Ty Robinson, everyone. How you doing?
Good, man. I'm glad you made the drive, dude.
Want to put that closer?
Yes, sir. Check.
There you go.
But yeah, man, I'm glad you made the drive up, dude. I know it's a lot to get this. I mean, setting everything up, and I seen your show, I think, with Trey and with the Wardens, and you know, I was like, man, that's so dope to see something like that in Sioux City. So
Thanks, man. That means a lot.
yes, sir.
Well, man, you know, I kind of like to have people come on the show, kind of tell them about themselves, their life, their growing up and everything like that. So what was it like growing up in Sioux City for you? Because we kind of started there. We both West Side graduates too, you know, class of 14, class of 2011.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So, I mean, Sioux City's not as small as everybody thinks it is, but it's also not as big as we want it to be. So, I mean, I grew up pretty middle class. You know, I kind of had the Heights and the hood at the same time being mixed, you know.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I grew up right on the West Side, and, you know, it's always just been deemed as the lowest, the most unsuccessful, you know, just the fighters, the gangsters. And,
Absolutely.
you know, though there was that, you know, it's like I just always strayed away from it. I just always kind of found myself doing activities and different stuff that always kept me out.
Yeah. So what? Obviously, you know, I know you have a twin. You know, shout out to Tay Groove.
Yeah, Tay Groove.
Is that your only family member?
No,
do you have like a
man.
sister or any?
So yeah, I actually got like 7 brothers and sisters.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then we have identical twin sisters too.
Okay.
So that's
So yeah,
pretty crazy.
basically like 2 sets of twins in your family.
Yep. And me and him are fraternal, and then they're identical. So
Damn.
it's pretty crazy.
So twins running the family, basically, what you're saying?
I guess on my dad's side, I thought it came from the woman, but
Oh, really?
I guess it doesn't.
You think when you guys have kids eventually, you think you're gonna end up having twins?
I mean, I've always joked with my wife that, you know, if we were to have kids, I'd rather have twins, get it out the way.
That'd be dope.
You know, then it's like you got your little best friend.
Yeah.
You don't need nobody else.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope, man. I like that. You know, what's it like having a twin? You know, shout out to my man Devin Solsberger. He has a pair of twins, so he kind of gets to experience it.
Yeah.
So, but now I get to talk to a twin. So, what's kind of like having a twin?
Dude, you share everything. It's so crazy to think like you shared a womb, you shared food, you shared nutrients. I mean, we shared clothes, beds. I don't think we got our own bed until probably like 7th grade or something, maybe 8th grade, dude.
Really?
Yeah, we had our own bedrooms, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we are always sharing things. We had like a bunk bed, so. But yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. It's awesome now as we get older. It's just like, no matter what, you know. Obviously, I have my wife, my family, and stuff, but it's like there's nothing like having a carbon copy of yourself out there in the world. Like, shit hits the fan. I know I can rely on him. You know,
everyone says like that people I've talked to that have twins that they have like that. You have that feeling like, you know, like if something's wrong, you can feel it.
Yeah. I would say there's definitely times where, you know, you can just sense things out, and you just it's almost not even a feeling. It's almost just like a reaction that you have.
Okay,
it's so weird, but yeah. I mean, we've gotten like things wrong on tests, like separate classrooms or whatever, and same word, same reason.
Oh, really?
You know, just weird stuff.
Okay. You know, obviously, a lot of people, when they do grow up, they kind of lose track of their friends, but you're still connected with a lot of your friends you grew up from high school. You know, a lot of people in the world aren't. You know, so how is it important to have that friendship? You know, still, you know, obviously you're about 33.
Yeah,
correct.
About to be.
You know, I still see you with all your friends on social media. You're still connected. You're still locked in with them. A lot of people don't do that. So what's it mean for like what's it kind of like for you to have those friends still?
You know, it's crazy because it's like you go through so much things in life, and it's not always like, you know, like they say, growing out, we just grew apart. Like, you know, it's not like there was an issue, but just interest, life, family, whatever, work draws you away from each other. But I think people don't value those people that you hit up, once a year, twice a year, I mean, Cody Decker, my best friend ever, Decker, dude.
Yep, yes, sir.
And, like, he's just busy doing his thing. I'm busy doing my thing. And, it's like, it might only be once or twice, or like, obviously I had him in my wedding, but like, those are the people that it's like, you just pick up right where you stop,
Yeah.
and
You could not talk for a whole year. That one phone call, you act like you guys been talking for every single day.
Nothing changes.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge thing. People are so quick to, this person reply to me, or I didn't get invited here. And, honestly, I mean, yeah, especially moving to a new city, not knowing anybody. I was just working a regular job and getting out and meeting people. It's like, you still understand what real friendship is, because you have those people that you grew up with from kids, and, so it gives you a good amount of discernment, I guess.
I get you. One thing I want to get into, well, before we get into my last two topics for like kind of grow up in life, but what was one of your fondest moments of growing up?
Man, I was really blessed with an amazing set of grandparents, that just, they could afford to do a lot for us. And so I grew up on 50 acres.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I grew up on 50 acres, and just learning the outdoor life. My grandpa was a second generation carpenter, and just really getting to know who it was that I am. Because now that I'm back in contracting, I would just say those moments, just being out with my grandpa, on the tractor, mowing, building a house, building a shed, just things like that, I would say are the fondest moments.
Hell yeah. One thing I want to get into now is, how the hell did we come up with Team Varsity?
Oh, man. See, I didn't see that one on there, but no, dude, Team Varsity, man. Shout out to my Team Varsity boys, dude. Oh, man.
That was a legendary moment.
What a time to be alive, dude. It was crazy, man, because I knew we all were always rapping and doing this and doing that, but like, to see the amount of dedication that, like, I mean, obviously we're fire, but not that fire. I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yeah.
But it was just crazy to see everybody go into Dalvin's closet. We just have a room full of guys in there just smoking, playing COD, and going back and forth into the fucking closet. That was the studio. And, but just look around the room and you just see everybody's in their notebook. They're writing their verse. They're laying it down. And like, it was just an awesome moment to be a part of. And just like the whole city's hating on us. And like, it was just kind of like, this is where you see who you really are and what you're made of. Because it's like, when we released that Cypher video, bro, that was like, we were like, all right, like, we're about to push the button, to upload. And just to see the city react the way they did, and like, it's just like, we're trying something new. We're being ourselves.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people don't like when people try something new, because
it's called the law of familiarity. That's a huge thing that I live by, is, even, it's one of those things where it's just like, the people who know you, they know so many lesser versions of you.
And so they hold on to that.
And most people don't think forward. They always think in the past.
Yep.
So like, a lot of like successful people, they only look at the past long enough to know what they need to do from the past to go into the present and then into the future.
For sure.
A lot of unsuccessful people, crab in the bucket theory. Everybody's trying to crawl out the same bucket, and they pull you back down.
Absolutely.
So it sucks that there's a lot of that, but it's here in Omaha, it's in LA, it's in New York,
it's everywhere, sadly.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of like the worst part about life, is that when you try, even when I started this channel, a lot of people didn't like it. And my buddy shout out to Crisis, told me that when he started making music, he was like, brother, I'm telling you, he was like, you may be like downtown.
You'll be surprised by who doesn't like it.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. And that's what he kept telling me. He's like, I promise you, dude. He's like, no one liked when I started making music. He's like, I don't know if people felt like I was a threat. He's like, but the thing is, he's like, I was just a friend.
Yeah.
And he's like, I promise you, he's like, when you start this, you're going to see who's with you and who's really not with you.
Yeah.
And so since I've grown this now, that people haven't been with me, But, recently we've gone a little bit viral. So now these people that weren't with us are now
they start to support. And that's the thing, like, even the game on the TV, like I always wanted to be in the game. I wasn't ever trying to judge somebody from outside of it and not understanding the practices and the grind and the technique and the routines that you have to create. And, it's the same thing starting, a clothing brand, and you go to share other people's things and you support them. And, I'm sending out a blast to 50 people. I know, in my head, I'm like, I know they'll share it.
Yeah.
You get like 5.
That part.
You know what I'm saying?
That
like,
part.
But at the end of the day, I'm doing it. The biggest thing is you got to do it for yourself, because like, even at West, man, like, what it's like to be a loser. I mean, what it's like.
In our years that we were
not just lose, but get your ass piss pounded while you're losing. And so many people, everybody that I went to high school with, not everybody, but, a good majority, it's like they didn't work out. They were never pissed off when they lost.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't hold themselves accountable. There'd be times it's like, I mean, how much I was in the gym. I mean, I just was.
Yeah, back in the day, it was like you, James, Dakota,
Dalvin.
Dalvin. Yeah, I'm saying, even
Skylar
Medina.
Bauer,
Yeah,
Medina.
Medina was in there rocking.
So, but it's like, that's what separated me, because going into like junior year, like I didn't know anything about college athletics or anything. I wasn't like thinking I was college caliber for anything. I mean, I won championships in dance and I knew I could go to performing arts school. But once I started getting better, then I'm like, oh, so I just have to do this? Like, that's what successful people do. They'll be like, I just need to figure out how to get that answer. Oh, all I have to do is this. How many times do I have to do it? 100? Okay, I'll do it 101 just to make sure I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just it's a different mentality to come out of that mediocrity.
And that's the thing too. It's like, I remember just starting this page, and it was a conversation with my mom at Mr. Stir Fry. And it's how it started. I remember just sitting down with my mom, and I was like, Mom, like, I have this plan, and I get it if you don't want to, because she's invested all of this that you've seen,
right?
The studio, the equipment, everything has came from her.
Yeah.
And I just told her, I was like, so my mom's we've really started taking a lot of business role in our family recently. And what I'm getting at is she's kind of taken the role of it, like the CEO basically of everything. And so I was kind of talking to her. I was like, Mom, I have this plan. As soon as I said I had a plan, she's like, okay, let's see if you really have a plan.
Let's sit down. Let's pull out the notebook.
Yeah. So she's like, so we're sitting at Mr. Stir Fry. She's like, let's see if you really have a plan. So she was like hounding me like an investor would.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to invest money into you, let's see how deep I can get out of you. Yep. And so I was just telling her, I was like, I want to do this. I want to have people on. I was like showing her Shannon Sharp clips. I was like, I want to exactly do this. And I was like, I want to be the platform to give people that, I was like, one thing about Sioux City and like the Midwest is that a lot of people don't get recognition and a lot of people don't get put on to talk about their voice. And she would kind of sat there for a second. She's like, give me a week. Well, one question that kind of works is like, is there any money in podcasting? And so I was like, I was like, oh, for sure.
You pulled out the Google.
Yeah. And so, so I'm showing her like, you can get sponsorships and this, and we can get brand deals, this. And she was like, okay. She's like, give me a week. Let me look into it. And I'll talk to you again. So a week goes by. I'm kind of sitting there. I was like, man, like, I have this plan.
Everything's there, man.
And I was like, I just got to see if she'll follow through with it. A week goes by. She calls me. She's like, call your brother, get everything ordered. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, really? And she was like, yeah. So like,
now you got to be prepared. Like I said earlier, like you get given the opportunity to succeed. And if you're not prepared, it will not happen.
Yeah.
And
that's where it took me a year to get going. And even she kind of,
and that's where, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because I was so, scared of the backlash. And that was also like the little bitch voice. I hate to say it, but it was just kind of like and finally she sat me down. She's like, Drake, she's like, Drakey, it's been a year. Like, you haven't done your podcast. I've invested almost $10,000 into this.
Yeah.
Like, what's really going on? I was just kind of told her, I was like, I'm just kind of scared of like everything. And she was like, Drake, do you think all these other podcasters that you told me about
knew what they were doing?
Knew what the hell they were doing, video wise.
That's the biggest
editing
thing, man.
And she was like, just go. And I talked to my buddy Zay Crisis, and he was just like, dude, you wanted this.
You wanted this. You wanted people want
Like-
to win, and then you hand them a W and you just say, all I need is this out of you,
Yeah.
and they can't do it. And it's like some people are
Like, pressure is pillage.
They're actually you're more comfortable losing because there's no expectation of anything.
Yeah.
So it's like once you start, you're like, now I can be criticized, and so that's when you start figuring out who's going to support you,
Yes.
who's going to invest in you. The biggest
Yes.
thing is like, how many people out there have dreams but nobody can invest in them, or nobody
Absolutely.
to invest in them?
Absolutely.
And that's the same thing with Fluff and Duff. Is like, I didn't have any investors, I didn't have anybody, and now I do, of course, but it's like I had to present, like you said, a whole business plan and say, like, this is what your return on your investment is
Yeah.
looking like, and it's just crazy because people don't understand the processes to high level thinking.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not X, Y, Z, it's W, P, Q, and R, and you got to be willing to make those jumps and break through those walls.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't ready to make those jumps because
No.
that's the thing. Like, one thing about our town that we're from is a lot of people. Once someone tells you you shouldn't do that, then they don't do that. But once you kind of break through, at least like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You should grow up. You should stop.
Yeah.
It's like once people say that, like, start saying that, like, that's whenever like the doubt kicks in, and and then you start thinking to yourself, like, can I really do this?
Yeah, and that's why you have to do it, because you love to do it.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy to say that because I was running away from contracting, and like I said, like, growing up with the tool in my hand, I learned how to drive a skid loader when I was 10 years old. Like,
Yeah.
and just getting back to those roots. Like, I was sitting there and I was trying to do the online thing, and I have friends who are making, 6 figures a month, and it just wasn't my thing though. And that's a big thing that, I think a lot of people don't recognize in themselves when something just isn't a fit, even if you like to do it, but it's like, you're not willing to get better at it, or you're not willing to, then you can't expect to excel, and that's okay.
And that's when I did Trey's podcast, I had a line in there that says, everyone wants the glory, but they don't want the grind.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I have had to kind of take win. That's like, sacrificing a lot. Obviously, you run a business, you having a wife, away from home. And when it comes to work, this is basically work.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of experiencing now, like, actually putting, if you want to be balling, you got to be all in.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And so I kind of taken that route to, it's like, if I'm going to do this, I have to do this. And so, like, once I had that talk with my mom, she was like, it's been a year, Drake. And I talked to my buddy Zay. He's like, dude, you wanted this. He's like, you had this whole ass plan and you're just sitting there. Like, he's like, how many times have we been downstairs hanging out, watching a fucking movie
when you
in the podcast studio that you wanted to build? He was like, look at the equipment.
Watching movies in the podcast studio with the mic turned off.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we had the mic. I had a table in the middle of us, both pod mics to the side, and I was just sitting there, and I was just like, man, like, I'm looking like I'm basically
you're posing.
Yeah, I'm
posing.
Yeah, and that's like
it's people that buy a LLC to say they have a business.
Yes,
but they ain't making no money. They're not making no money. It's not even about making money. That's the biggest thing. Is we all know the statistic about businesses fail within the first 5 years, and it's always about money. But once you get to that 5 years, it's like you realize it was really never about the money. It was always about how you moved and how you processed.
Yeah, the grind,
the SOPs of your business. Because it's like, I quit my job going on 2 years ago here in next month, and to say, like,
wasn't it June?
It was
May.
It was June, I think. Yeah,
June 24th.
Yeah, I got my first DUI ever.
Yeah, June 24th. I saw your post about that. I wasn't going to ask you about that. I was going to see if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, man.
But I remember you wrote a letter to yourself, and I was like, you know what? Like, this is what could be the kickoff. Obviously, like, it happened.
Dude, it was crazy because it was like, man, it was at a time of my life where I had just got out of, working downtown and being in the nightlife, and was just partying every day, all night. It was summertime, my birthday week. It was my birthday week. And I had a really good career job, and but I was just getting started with doing some side stuff, because I've been doing the side contracting here for like 4 or 5 years, just part-time, working 9 to 5,
Yes,
then you're
sir.
5 to 9. And yeah, dude, it just I got that, and then I literally wrote my letter of resignation, like thought about it when I was in jail, and like the whole time I was in there, like, some people freak out and some people are, distraught, and obviously some people are belligerent drunk.
Hmm.
I was, but I was coherent. But like it was the most like I was like, this is what God wants right now. Like he's giving me an opportunity. I'm at the bottom. Yeah, I have a great job, but that's not where I want to be at. I have an opportunity to just go all in on myself.
Hmm.
You're already at the bottom. So I just wrote my letter of resignation the next day. And, there's been days I've had to shovel shit. And there's been days that, I got to go pick up a toilet for $50, back when I first started. And you, you just think like how many people would have already went and applied for another job.
That's the thing. That.
Like to bet on yourself this hard, 95% of people can't do it.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Once, like, even now, like episode 38,
Yeah.
like, people would have quit at 20. People would have quit at 5.
They would have quit at 5. They would have did 1, threw up like you did, and then been like, yeah, if this is going to make me throw up, I'm not
That's
doing
what I'm
it.
saying. Yeah,
Like,
that's what, a lot of people don't know this. But like, my first episode, I recorded. It didn't save. But after I got done recording, I puked after because it's like, holy shit, this is real. Like, I'm really talking to a camera.
Because you literally like became another level, and that next step to who you want to be. And
Yeah.
it's like so euphoric, dude. Like it's crazy, man.
Dude, I'm telling you, like once, I'll never forget that. I didn't save, but I'll never forget it.
It didn't need to save. God didn't need to save it. He just needs you to experience it.
Like this, this is what I was talking to you about. Like those nights when you were laying in bed, asking yourself, like, what am I gonna do if I'm gonna be a FedEx driver for the next 40 years? Am I really gonna do that,
dude? And that's the hardest part when you actually have like a good career. Like you can make 6 figures. You can have
I
a
can make good money.
Plan.
Yeah,
like, but it's like that's when you got to really think like, do I want to get trapped into this lifestyle? Because I was the same way. I was like, dude, like if you just stay here, 20 years go by, you're gonna get a fully paid for brand new truck. Like, I knew 6 figures would have been there, but it's just taking that chance, man. And this is the thing that I'll tell anybody that's like trying to go off on that venture, trying to start that business, like don't recommend just quitting your job. It's not for, like I said, 95% of people, but just taking a chance and just really just saying like, all I'm going to do is end up where I'm already at. So, I mean, yeah, like you're also having those thoughts because you don't want to be there, but you ain't doing that bad. Like, and some people are, but that's how you have to look at it. When you fail something, it's just like, all I'm going to do is end up where I was. And then if I actually learn something from that failure, then I actually didn't. I progressed. I moved forward, even if it's 1%, so.
Yeah. Like one thing too is like working through FedEx is understanding that these are contractors. So like I work with, like I drive for FedEx, but the contractor, that little name on the side, that's who I work for. And so my boss, shout out to Pat, was a driver just like me 10 years ago. And I remember we were driving up to Omaha, and I was just, obviously it's just you and your boss, so that's when you kind of really get deep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so I was asking him, I was just like, so what did you do before this? And he was like, I was you. And I kind of sat there and I was like, what do you mean by that? He's like, I was a driver.
Yeah.
I was like, you were a driver? He was like, yeah. He's like, I was literally a driver just like you. I just talked to Lori one night. And
I figured out the process.
Yeah. He's like, I just took the risk. And so I kind of sat there and I started talking to myself a lot about the podcast because I wasn't starting there in that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I want to keep working for the guy that took the risk, or go be the man that ended up taking that risk? And so having that talk kind of made me, I was like, you know what, dude, fuck it, I'm doing it. And I was like, I remember telling my buddy, I was just like, once I do episode 1, I'm not going back.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not. I was like, I'm already too invested deep into it, like mentally. And I was like, I know how I'm going to do my episodes, and I'm going to rock with that shit.
But that's when you start actually like articulating, like that's the whole thing about the process of being successful at whatever it is you're trying to do, is people don't want to do the boring, ugly shit. They just want to do all the fly shit. And it's like, you don't see the office time, the process,
The editing videos.
the
Telling you.
backsplashes, trying to figure out the next one, and doing research on people and just being prepared. And like that's the biggest thing that you know it's just crazy because it's like as easy as it is, like I don't have to go to work tomorrow. I don't have to do anything if I don't want to do anything tomorrow because I don't have a boss. I mean, I'm my boss, but it's like how hard that is to like not fuck off tomorrow
Yeah.
and
But that's
fuck
the-
off Tuesday.
That's a lot of
and,
thing with people nowadays that like, oh, I have a business now. I work for myself, and then I know a lot of friends that do that where it's like I got an LLC now, like you said, and now I have a business now. I don't have to go to work tomorrow. It's like no, you clock in every fucking day.
like when people invite me to go golf or just do something, and I know I have a project or something coming up, I literally will be like, no, my boss said no. Like, because it's like even that mentality is just like I'm still working for myself. So you'll always have the best boss is the best employee, So it's like the servant leader, your boss who's somebody who's actually going to open up to you. And, I've always respected those people at every job I was at. So many people, they were always like, dude, why are you here? Like, I'm in a skid loader or I'm in a job box or something or whatever. And they're just like, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, the things that you're interested in, like, why are you here, bro? Like, you need to be doing way better things, But it just turned out that I just needed to become the person that they were working for. Like, I enjoyed what I was doing. It was just taking that risk, like you said, and, being able to delegate success. That's what it comes down to. And a lot of people just can't do it.
For sure. I want to kind of get into school life now. We both are Westside graduates, like we said in the past.
Shout out to West High basketball team too.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Eddie. Shout out to Roman, Cam, Andy.
Roman Henry, yep.
Yep, Andy Lamb.
Look, Roman, I messaged you, man. Hit me up, brother.
Hit him up. He follows the account, so
awesome.
We'll get him on there. So, what was like school like going for you at West?
I mean, I think I had a pretty. I mean, honestly, like if I had to be honest, dude, like it was like a Disney movie. Was it? Like no High School Musical, no pun intended. Like but it's like I don't know, man. I had a pretty good high school of just being able to just be successful at what I wanted to do. It's crazy. The first thing I ever won, first time I ever stepped on a stage. So this is how champions think. Champions, like they walk into a door and they literally don't even like fathom that they're gonna lose. It's just not in their head. And I didn't know that until dance, bro. You know how good Wes was at dance.
Oh yeah, you and Dakota are up there.
So yeah, man, and like walking into state and just like knowing like everybody is telling you you're gonna win. It's not even just like you telling yourself. Like it's a whole different feeling when like you're so used to losing, like I said, because it's like we would win a dance competition and then turn around and just get piss pounded, 50-0 in football. I mean, football is the most physical sport to get your ass whooped the longest. Like, I mean, it's just
especially back then, 4 quarters straight.
4 quarters straight. I mean, I
played
think
ABO, Des Moines East.
I won 4 games, maybe 5 games in 5 years, 3 different head coaches.
Do you kind of, I know, I've asked a lot of people that went to West this question, is that do you kind of regret not leaving? Or do you kind of like,
I always look at it like
academic wise?
I mean, no, it would have been sports.
Oh.
I don't need academics where I'm at right now, but realistically, man, I got offered to go to Keelan, I think my junior year, and I was growing my hair out and they told me I had to cut my hair and I was like, man, I'm not going to do that. But no, man, I mean, I think that it felt so good. Because those kids at Keelan, those kids at East, or just whatever schools are doing good, it's like they don't know what it's like to lose yet. They don't know what it's like to get piss pounded yet. So how are they going to react when they get smacked in the mouth like that? We had already experienced that. So all I got to do is figure out how to win, and it really came down to, like I said, just betting on myself, dude. Like I was the most dedicated athlete in my class. Like I don't say that I was the most talented. I'm just saying I was the most dedicated. I know that for a fact. There was nobody who worked out longer, train harder, unless they were training with me. I mean, it just was what it was. There's a lot of people who are just naturally talented. They didn't need to put in as much work, and you know, they're amazing. But it's just one of those things where it's like, once you learn what it feels like to truly own a moment, it's like you want to always be able to control that and have that. So I've just taken that into everything in my life. And like boys club, I went to boys club, dude. It made me the most well-rounded person I think in my life. There's so many random things I know how to do because of boys club, like juggling and playing pool. Like we'll go bowling or do something random, and they're just like, how are you good at everything? And I'm just like, because I want to be good at everything. It's like, you're just like, oh, I'm just bowling. Like, I'm like, no, we're going to, for the next hour, like, we in the PBA over here. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
But, yeah, man. So it definitely, I love the West Side, man. I love everybody that I know on that side of town and grew up with. And, shout out to Coach Strim and Coach Glass, man. Those are my boys, dude. Dude, they were the best coaches I've ever had in my life, hands down, man. Because you're in the midst of a program in a school that is known for losing, and to be able to take those same athletes and say, look, all I had to do was tell him individual, because track's individual. So it's like, I just need to worry about Drake being the best thrower that he can be. Like, I don't need to depend on 11 other people or 5 other. And so they really proved that, like, we had athletes,
back then you guys had the fastest team,
yeah,
Darius,
like we were
Daytrick,
smacking
Dakota,
people.
you,
like, and that was another thing, like when you go into a track meet and everybody's like looking at you like, oh damn, here they are. Like, it was never like that in football. It was never like that in basketball. Like it took that individual, especially for me, because I was a hurdler and I was with Dakota. But it was like, we're away from everybody who's popping and everything. Like, they're all over there. Darius is breaking records every meet, and everybody's just doing amazing. But to be on the hurdle team, it was like, we weren't. I'm not gonna say we weren't that close, but it was like you're more in your lane, I guess you could say, So it definitely, those, dude, Coach Strim and Coach Glass, man, they're the shit, dude. They're
definitely some OGs out there.
Best coaches I've ever had, man.
Obviously, we talked in the past about, West High being like a low tier side, whatever, just having a bad rep. What's something the West Side can do to get a better rep? Obviously, with West Side basketball being what it is now, we're kind of getting that, a little change,
Yeah.
But what's something, on your opinion, that would help us get a little bit better? Like, hey, like this, we're not really what you're making us out to be.
The biggest thing, dude, is buy-in. Everybody has to buy in. Everybody has to put up their money, and figuratively and literally. The kids have to buy in, the coaches have to buy in, the parents have to buy in, and not just like, I think the biggest thing is that there's levels to it, like, I mean, there's parents who are like, oh, my kid makes a layup and that's awesome, and whatever. And then there's parents that are like, I need 2 3-pointers and 2 layups, and that's a standard. And I think the standard has to be risen for everybody, because you have to want that first. And it didn't take, it really sucks, because a lot of kids are underprivileged. A lot of kids don't, like, a lot of kids didn't grow up like me. And I seen it both ways. Like I said, I'd be down in the hood with, Dalvin and TJ and all them. And then I'd be at my grandparents. So it's like, I'm getting to see both sides, and they still grew up amazing, but it's like the environment of the street and, dogs running around and whatever. I think it's like, but see, they had the mentality to get out. It's always about wanting it. You got to want it, because like, it didn't take my parents to drive me to school. Like, I found my own ride to school. I was at school until 11 p.m. sometimes. Like, my mom's like, are you coming home, or weightlifting's in 5 hours? You just want to stay there, But it's like, you got to really want that, because if every kid shows up to practice, every kid shows up to, all their activities, and they want to be the best, even with a bad coach, a player still can look good. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to get to the championship level, man, they gotta find a coach that I don't know, man, because I hate to say it, West High, but I hit the DMs to the golf team and tried to talk about, getting some fluff and duff on those kids. The shirts were kind of baggy, and I don't know. I was just like, man, I could
Get a
do
little
some
change, a little swag to him.
yeah, like, throw something like this on, and like your confidence goes up.
Yeah.
Like how it
That's
is.
that's what I'm saying. Confidence is key, especially been doing like being on
Nice
camera.
schools don't have shitty shit. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like they're out here in the best gear. They feel good. I don't care what
Look
they
good,
say.
feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, like and that only obviously takes you so far, but it's like I was just telling my wife actually because I've been following the basketball team and like I'm like, what's up with the football team? And I went back to Sioux City
That was my next question for you.
and it's like I have this dream where when I get to my number, I'm gonna go back. I would love to go back and invest like 4 years. I mean, like that's the other thing, man, is like having a new coach every other year. Like you got to know if they're obviously not gonna pan out, but at the same time, like season 1 doesn't mean season 5 isn't state championship. You know what I'm saying? But you just got to have the buy-in, man, and things like that. Though I will say, like that was pretty crazy to like they read the message. So that like
They
when
read
you
it?
get left
Damn.
on red, bro,
Damn.
And I love you, West High, but I'm coming back. I want to come back and speak there to the kids, but it's just like you don't know who I am. You don't know what I can bring to the table. You don't understand, where I'm at, and to be an alumni, to be on the wall. I'm pretty sure I'm on the wall. I know I'm in that trophy case or dance, but
For sure.
I think it's just really having a community buy-in, and anybody that's trying to come in and help, don't deny that help. Facilitate it, figure out where it fits best, but don't ever
Especially being
deny
a
the
West Side
help.
alumni, that's kind of like a
But that's what I'm saying. It's like how out of touch are you with
that's-
the community, because it's like I'm liking everything on the West High page. I'm liking everything when it comes to, the athletics and trying to keep up and, but it's like I can't say how it is in, the locker room now and the coach's office or whatever, but it's something that I'm gonna have to figure out before I hit that number is like, what is it at West that needs to change and how can I change it? It's just really like no other option.
yeah. Because like West Side basketball has been great to watch. I ended up I think I watched like 5 games with theirs, and just being able to watch Eddie and Cam and Roman just take that role. It was so cool to see because it to be like in the stands as a student during that time, during like
Yeah.
the ass
How does
kicking,
that feel?
and so like to see us now, Roman dropping 52.
Those kids are having the time of their life,
That's-
versus like going to every game when we were there and just getting our asses whipped,
Yeah.
And that's another thing though, is like the student body, everybody has to just like invest more. Like if you're going to be a fan, be the biggest fan, be out there supporting, find a player, whoever, like it just helps the morale of everything. And that's why football is so big for schools. And that's why it's the most like income producing sport, is because it's in the fall. So it sets the whole year for the school.
Yeah.
How good football, basketball, volleyball do, those fall sports, and for us, it's like getting our ass whooped. All right, now we're into basketball. And then we end the year winning in track.
Yeah, that was basically how it was back
Yeah.
then.
You
We probably go what?
besides dance
0 and
for
12.
me.
It wasn't 0 and like we go like 0 and 12, maybe 1 and 12 would probably be TJ.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
we won
South Sioux.
one game every season. It was TJ, South Sioux. It was always the homecoming game because they always trying to pick somebody you can beat.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, it's something that definitely it's been on my mind more. I want to get back and speak. Profe Seifker, get me in there. I don't know a lot of Spanish, but I want to get like I want to get more into speaking this year. I'm certified life coach, keynote speaker. I've spoken at University of Nebraska Lincoln, UNO, for a couple different nonprofits, and I love speaking because it's like what's this knowledge doing to my head? What's my experience doing to my head if somebody else can relate to it?
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, like football is a big thing. we obviously seen West take off in basketball. What's something that the West Side needs to do for their football team? Obviously, like we just kind of get a little bit deep into it, like on your personal opinion, like right now, like if you had to change right now, what would you take? Like if you were the head coach, where would you start?
It sounds crazy, but it's like I would start trying to figure out and start studying what the other teams are doing at this point. Because at some point in time, you have to look across the battlefield map and go, what the fuck are they shooting over there?
Yeah.
Who's shooting that gun? I need somebody that looks like him or her or what, like, because it sucks. And like, I mean, the difference is like, Coco coming in and coaching, that's what started the basketball trend.
Yeah, definitely.
And he was an NBA player. Like, that's what you need. You need an NFL coach. You need a Division I coach who decided to come back down, or a very, very decorated high school coach to want to come in and take that on and then buy in on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're a huge track person. You placed 9th in state. Does that kind of still haunt you a little bit?
I mean, it does because
you were looking through like the stats. You were there.
Yeah.
Like breaking top 10, that's huge in state.
Yeah.
Especially from being the team that always talk down about everything. Here comes Ty Robinson placing 9th at state. Here comes Darius Pearson placing 1st in the 100 meter.
Yeah.
Doing everything. And when you guys walked in the building, they knew who Wes was.
And what was that? Was that high jump or hurdles?
High jump.
High jump, yeah. So I was supposed to do hurdles, and this is what haunts me is it was here in Council Bluffs at Lewis Central. I was going on a tear towards the end of the season to where, like I said, I was just walking into every track meet and knowing I was winning 110 highs. There's just, Dakota's coming in second. Like we were running shit. And
back then that was a crazy run. I'll never forget those runs.
And like, yeah, because I was the Darius of the hurdles, so it was like feeling that pressure, and it finally caught up to me. Because every race I was trying to PR, trying to chase Coach Strim's record. And we got to conference here. I'm number 1 in the conference, fastest lane. All I have to do is run my city time. I won city, breezed through. And it was districts. So I had already won city and conference, and then was going into districts, fastest lane. And everybody, it's districts. I've been racing Devin Thomas and, Paxton Strube and all these people. Mm-hmm. You know how it is in track. Like you are competing against the same motherfucker every single fucking meet, to where you're cool or you're not cool. We were all cool, but just had to run the same time. And I was trying to get that PR. I crashed through like 3 hurdles, and the whole field just took off in front of me. And to know that my city time ended up getting 3rd at state was just, that was a bummer, dude. But yeah, high jump's a different beast. That's fun, man.
Yeah.
But
I was telling you, I remember those track days with Dakota and him going out there and just watching from like a stand, just when you guys have like high school meets and just seeing like how fast everyone was and like, holy shit. Like
they actually are fast.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you see it on a football field, it's a little bit different. But when you see it on a track field,
it's a straight line.
You just see like the determination of like the faces of everyone. Yours, Dakota's, Daytrix, Gerald. I remember Gerald was kind of mixed in there. I think I was a freshman.
Yeah,
freshman, sophomore.
Dude, him and Taryn.
Yeah, Taryn.
Dude, yeah, man.
I say those when they kind of came in the field too with you guys, like holy shit, like this is a different type of team.
It felt like the dream team. Like it's so crazy to say that, but it's like we just all mix. Like we're all black, we're all minorities, and like you kind of feel like I don't want to be like the Jamaican bobsled team, like but it's like it's just kind of like. The school that everybody always counts out.
Absolutely.
That's really what it is.
And you walk in there, everyone's like, oh shit, there's Ty, there's Dakota, there's Darius, and they start, like they have that, it was kind of nice to have that. It's kind of dope to see now with West Side's basketball, but so it kind of felt like that with you guys when you walk into that track field and then like everyone's like, oh, West Pie won't show up. And then you guys show up there like, oh fuck, now we got to deal with these guys.
Yep.
And so now we take it, senior year ends, placed 9th. Now you head off to Iowa Western. Because didn't you go to Wayne State for a little bit?
No,
you didn't go to Wayne?
Only Iowa Western.
Iowa Western. So what was getting to like? What was that like? Obviously, that JUCO program is pretty clean. A lot of people go there.
Yeah, man. It was. That was where I truly learned what it was like to be a dominant champion, like not just a winner, not just, I mean, it was the same feeling, Coach Glass and, track and dance. It was the same thing, but it was on such a bigger magnitude because it was college football,
Mhm.
And so I remember like I wasn't getting very many offers or anything. Obviously, you can't get fucking any film. I gotta say, not one coach shot me out to any colleges. Nobody helped me. I went to the Rivals Ultimate 100 camp with my parents. I
Mhm.
traveled the country to Nike camps, competed against the top kids in the country. And those are the things that nobody's doing. Those are the things that nobody else at West was doing. Nobody else was trying to get recognized and get film. And they wanted me. I competed Rivals Ultimate 100 for Midwest, and I told my mom, no, I want to go to Southwest. I want to go to Texas
Okay.
because that's where the best football players are at. I could have went to
Yeah.
Indianapolis and played Michigan kids and New York, and which is still good, but like I knew where the best football was, and that was the difference. That for me, it was like going to Iowa Western. I was like, dude, it's a junior college. This is like their third season. They had a good season, but I'm just in my head. I'm like, dude, Council Bluffs Community College. I'm like, I'm about to go in here. I'm about to start, break some records, transfer to LSU. Like, I mean,
Yeah. That.
I just had that in my head, and I got there and I was shell shocked, bro. I mean, I was the amount of talent I've never seen anything like it, and it's still going on today. Soccer, football, baseball. I've never been on a college campus or campus at all that everybody's expecting a ring. Like you're going to get your ring right now, and I'm getting mine later. And, teams just like, oh, yeah, they're in the lunchroom showing their rings off. The school's announcing they're national champions for the third time. I didn't know what it was like to win. I didn't know what it was like to truly, because I could handle that competition, those 2 a days, bro. I mean, you're talking about kids from Alabama, LSU,
Yeah. Different
Florida
breeds.
State,
Yeah.
and so coming in and competing and actually competing, like actually holding my own, it was crazy because the guy that started ahead of me, Dion Long, broke every single wide receiver record for the history of junior college in one season. And that was
Jesus.
that was the quarterback too, that was the running back, that was the defensive end. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Like we were averaging like 60 points a game
Was it JUCO?
at a JUCO, bro.
Jeez.
It was different, man. And like the level of coaching, that not only were they graduating players to transfer, my strength and conditioning coach ended up going to become Notre Dame's. They were
Oh, really?
graduating, they were transferring coaches, bro. They're leveling coaches up. They come down 2 seasons, 5 seasons, boom, their head coach, you know, D2, D1 schools,
Yeah.
and it's just crazy to see. But, it really put in perspective, though, like the level of tenacity you have to have towards success, because, like, I didn't take it as serious as I should have. And yeah, I was a part of the national championship team and I grinded it out. I caught a game winning touchdown. I did, not in the championship, but just, just experiences throughout being there. And it was just so hard to like, I think Tay was there, Jordo was there, and nothing against them. They were there doing their thing, but I allowed myself to become more of the student and less of the athlete, and not even a student after a while, to where it was an amazing experience, man. But it was one of those times where it was like, okay, so I transferred to Morningside, and it's Sioux City, bro. I think that's all I need to say. Like I went home and then team varsity started. I thought I was gonna be a rapper. Like I just got into too much and it ended up getting kicked off the team, which I mean, end of the day, I don't know what it was. I was just told it's not working out. That decision right there changed my life because realistically I could have went to I could have went anywhere. I could have went to Briarcliff, I could have went to Grandview, could have like the game's not over, life's not over. Like I could have transferred, but that's where I guess decided that I wasn't in love with football the way I was. I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise I would have kept playing. There's some things are just so simple. It's so hard to over explain it, And so yeah, I thought I was gonna blow up, become a rapper, and you know, then my wife was like, I don't want to be with no rapper. This is when we first met too, and these are things why like I say I don't want to take anything back because I went to Healing. Had I went somewhere else, had I just walked on at Iowa, grinded it out for 2 years, and then made the team or whatever, you know, like I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have the life that I have now. So, you know, those kind of things are where I just look back and I'm just like, the experience was great, but time to move forward, you know. So
For sure. One thing I want to get into, my question is safe for on this phone, is why are so people worried about starting a brand? Obviously, you started Fluff and Duff, TRX Strategies, correct?
yeah.
Why are people so worried about that? Like, kind of
As far as like why is the whole thing right now branding yourself? Is that what you're asking?
no, like is like why so like even like with this, like my business, your business,
Yeah.
us making it, like we want it to grow. Why are so people not wanting to do that? To like their own, like people have ideas, everyone has a dream, but it's like, but as soon as someone wants to start a brand, then it's just like no,
Because it's too much of a statement.
Yep.
You know, like TRX Strategies is a brand, it's a contracting brand, but like it's definitely easier right now for me to grow because it's like the work and the notoriety that I get has to come from actually like putting in fucking work.
Absolutely.
Not posting on fucking Facebook.
Mhm.
You know, the branding for the golf brand, it is predicated on being on social media. You have to, you know. So it's a different ball game, but I think the biggest thing is you have to own what you fucking it's like me telling everybody right now, I'm a believer and follow and love Jesus Christ. You know how hard that is for people to say? Because it's like I'm pairing with his brand. I'm pairing with who he is and what he represents. And you know, that's part of my brand and what I do. God and Jesus Christ are in both of my businesses, every business I ever open.
Mhm.
And you know, I think it's just truly owning who you are. Like when you say you're a brand, when I say, you know, like, yeah, you got your little candle company and you're kind of doing some stuff, but like you don't want it to get to enough people to have one bad review. That's the problem. That's the problem. It's the bad reviews that people don't want to get that are inevitable. They're gonna happen because you're gonna win, you're gonna lose. You're gonna find different ways to tweak. Maybe that's your $1 million review because what you decide to change after that scales you the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think we're in a world where this posting in social media, like average people can't even feel fucking average because you feel like shit. But you're good. You're chilling, you know. Like I said, you got a decent job, your home life's good, you got a nice car, you do what you want. But when you get online, you're seeing somebody with even more. It's that shiny object syndrome where it's just like everybody's comparing each other. Now, I compare myself. I'm harder on myself, and I know a lot of people say this, but it's like the negative talk that I'll like tell myself to a certain degree of when I'm challenging myself is my biggest downfall, but it also like it's one of my biggest attributes because it's like you can't fucking say nothing to me that's gonna make me feel that bad about me because I'm talking shit to myself in my head.
Oh yeah, trust me. I'm
You
in the
know what
same.
I'm
I'm in the
saying?
same boat. Like
So it's
nothing
like-
the out person could say to me or like their pointless opinion be like, all right, whatever. It's like
Yeah.
I've said worse to myself.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's a huge thing though. It's like nobody wants to hear that. And when you're looking at it, like, so I am a help up. I am a very servant person. And like, I give fucking credit. I give props where it's due. I'll go out of my way. If I like your sunglasses and we're in the mall and I'm with my wife, be like, hold on, babe. Hey man, I like them glasses. I mean, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because being nice don't cost nothing. Giving credit, giving praise to somebody ain't nothing.
Yeah. So like what?
It's like the like button on Facebook. When people don't like your shit, bro, you know how much effort it took them to not like it over just liking it because their finger was already on the screen when they scroll past it. You know what I'm saying?
Trust. Yeah, I'm already knowing. And one thing too, I don't know why I didn't save. Is like going back. You're a certified life coach. Is when it was like a few years ago. You were driving home. That you saw a lady on the side of the road. She was 3 months pregnant, and so, like, why are so people nowadays not willing to go out of their way to help that next person? And then I think her uncle pulled up, and then they drove off, and you ended up giving her like her blanket or something. I forget. I don't know why I didn't save. I had everything ready.
Yeah.
But I remember just reading and you posted, but like, why are people nowadays not willing to go that extra mile to go help someone?
I think it's one, this world is a dangerous place. It's I always tell my wife, and I always tell especially the women in my life, it's like, don't walk outside and expect the world to be safe, because it's not. Like, number one. But number two, I'd rather die trying to help somebody than to live and maybe they died. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you pass somebody on the side of the fucking road, there's a reason they're on the side of the road. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just one of those things where it's like, you stop and you make sure that they're okay. You check on God's people, and it's not that hard to do. And if everybody did it, everybody be at the store. Hi. Oh, hey, let me get that for you. Oh, like, we live in this world where it's like fucking this. And it's like, like it sucks, because I always tell my wife, I'm like, I've always kind of been like the bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the sense of like, I'll cower down to somebody in an argument. I used to, growing up, like, I was always a people pleaser and didn't want confrontation. And not that I couldn't take it there, but it's just like, like I said, like, there ain't nothing that's going to disrespect me that much. Like, my wife's like, how are you going to let so-and-so do that or whatever, and I'm like, oh, it's whatever, but as I've gotten older, and I don't know why, I've just became like, I would always be the guy that would walk in a crowded place or whatever, and I'm always the one fucking turning my shoulders. And I finally just started fucking walking straight. And the only reason I did that is because
That was huge, though. I like that.
It's not that I wouldn't, like, I mean, a woman coming by, whatever, but like, I don't know, man. I kind of at this point in my life where it's like, people need to get fucking shaken in the middle of their fucking bullshit, and just be like, hey, man, like, what's up? Can I help you, man? Like, you just bumped into me. You can't get out the way, or, you're reaching across me. Like, how's it going, bro? Like, what's wrong? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like something's going on with people that act like that, or, there's a reason, and there's energy behind a lot. Like, my wife literally owns a, Reiki healing business that she heals people, through Jesus Christ. And it's like, the amount of demons that we all have on us, it's crazy. We all got trauma. We all have negative experiences that have affected us. But like, that's why we should be coming together, not why we should be isolating and, making it to where it's like, I mean, of course, the phone's a big thing. Everybody's walking on their phones and shit. But, it's just like, even online though, like I said, it takes you more effort to scroll past somebody's picture than to like it and scroll, because it's I don't even know if it's a millisecond. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tap. And so, like, growing my brand and stuff, it's like, that's kind of what I realized. It's like, I'm not asking you to fucking invest 10 grand in my business. I'm asking you to share my fucking post. How hard is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you asked me to do that, even if we were just high school people back in the day, whatever, fuck yeah, man, you got a business? Let me get a card, man. Oh, you're in Sioux City. I don't care if I ever see something like that's my card. My wallet's full of business cards, because it's like, if I know somebody that needs your services, if I know somebody that needs help or whatever, like, how much easier you can help people when you're focused on leading with helping first, and not, like, I go out in these fucking storms, dude. Go out after tornadoes, and I went out, we had a tornado in Elkhorn, and it was crazy. I mean, like, literally right here, fucking over the hill, and houses just got decimated behind us, and we had just moved in. And I'm huge on like giving, volunteering my time. I don't like regularly volunteer, but like anything I can do to help somebody, I'll mow a lawn for free, whatever. But I went out there, of course, like every other fucking storm chaser, every kind of, oh, we're gonna hit it big, blah, blah, blah. And when I seen the decimation of people's homes, and people out on farmland that had this one house, old farmhouse, that's the family's house, and they're just devastated. And like, you got contractors fucking pulling up with contracts, and just like leading with the sell. Like, they're not coming in to help anybody. They're not trying to fucking, get their hands dirty. And I went and fucking, I think I put in like 12 hours, dude, with one family. 12 fucking hours cutting trees, got in an excavator that was sitting there, and just fucking got to work, dude. I didn't get one contract that day. I probably missed out on $50,000 in business, and it wasn't even about that, because I can't stand watching somebody need something that I can offer and just not fucking offering it.
I love that, man, honestly. Because I'm telling you, a lot of people nowadays, they see you and they're just like, nope. Or you try to help someone and they're just like, nope. And it's just like, you try, like, I'm literally going on my way to help you.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not here to, I don't need your money. Even when I gave away a PS5, and when I made my post about it's like giving away a PS5, I plan on doing another one here soon, is I don't need your money. I don't need you to buy a shirt. I don't
Yeah.
need you to buy a hat, anything. Is it just all I'm asking for is you to follow my page and subscribe.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it, bro. And it's like this following shit, bro. Everybody's following fucking idiots, but like don't follow a winner. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to know why? Because it's too hard to walk that path. It's too hard to see through their eyes, through their stories, their life, you know, because we're all posting our life. And
Mhm.
it's like, damn, dude, like, I mean, some people obviously, yeah, like they that's all they can do is watch you live your life,
Yeah,
you
and
know. And that's the
grow.
same thing, dude, like with the fucking professional sports and stuff and like idolization, man. Like I've gotten so far out of the secularness of like, you know, like music. Like I don't listen to anything but Christian music, Christian rap, rock, country, whatever,
Okay.
but only Christian. And you know, I started realizing the idolization of these artists from people and like, oh, you hear that new blah blah blah, you hear this, da, 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 da. And it's like, no, because what the fuck is that doing for me? That's some demonic ass shit that I'm not trying to fuck with. That's not me,
Mhm.
you know. And even with these athletes, it gets hard to watch, you know, sports. And you know, I ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole, but it's just the fact that you're. I'm trying to think if I ever. I don't know if I really have, but I don't think I've ever really owned. I owned one jersey, Shaquille O'Neal, when I was a kid, but I was listening to this fucking. It would have been a podcast, but way back when, you know, YouTube
Yeah.
or whatever. And this man's like, I will never wear another man's name on my back. I'll get the jersey, but the number, not the name. It's gonna be my name.
Okay.
Because I'm watching LeBron James or Kevin Durant live out his fucking dreams right now. And most of the time, I'm paying while they're getting paid. So there's time for entertainment, there's time for things like that. But I guess, you know, my point is just that there's so many people that are looking up to unattainable idols when
Mhm.
it's like you could be idling the guy that's fucking started a lawn mowing business in your city that's just trying to help people out and make an honest living. And and it's not even idling, it's just a simple, like you said, share a like people don't understand how much that is that goes with the business, you know. And like with Fluff and Duff, man, it's been 3 years of doing this and telling people I had a brand when I had one shirt, telling people I'm doing this and I'm doing that. You know, I did a $10,000 order for First Tee for in Siouxland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did their entire annual order like probably like 3 years ago. But I let the kids design the shirts. I, you know, and I had parents. It was so cool. I had parents message me, "Hey man, kids in First Tee," and I see they got, you know, Fluff and Duff on. This is awesome. And you know, it's just one of those things where at the end of the day, I'm just trying to grow what I want to grow for myself because if I don't have nobody else, you know, I went to the Terrence Crawford parade and we were in the parade for the golf brand and it biggest fucking parade I'll probably ever be in my life. I don't know. It was like 50,000 people, man. He had just won the Canelo fight. So to
Yeah.
be one of the black owned businesses that was in that parade and, you know, I I was worried about everybody showing up and like being on time and this and that. And I had asked so many people to be in it. And that's another thing is like you'll realize like not everybody's their communication is usually bad on this point, but it's like, you know, I had to realize that not everybody is ready for that moment. Even though they love me, bro, I love you, man. I'll watch on the TV, man. I might be in the crowd or whatever, but like I can't be you on that truck. I can't have those eyes on me. I can't have that pressure. And so I respect that, you know, but those moments also it puts in perspective, you know, just the type of people that are around you though, because my wife was like, we can't worry about nobody being here but you. Like you're here. That's all that if you gotta just drive this fucking truck and it's just me in the back or whatever, you know, if
Mhm.
I wasn't even here, this is your shit. You gotta own it, you know, and that's a huge thing is with this golf brand, man, it's so competitive, and we're the first. I can guarantee you right now, we are the only minority owned golf brand, at least in Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota. I mean, at least.
Okay.
And to say that is crazy, man. And we're coming out with quality shit. It's not like we're fucking around, and the brand's just continuing to grow. And that's a huge part of the brand, though, is like I'm actually gonna start doing my own long form series, and it's gonna be traveling around to different cities and taking underprivileged kids golfing and learning what their struggles are and seeing if there's a network or somebody that we can pair with in the city to help that kid, and while we're doing that, as it grows, my plan is to have the contracting side come into homeowners with, kids, take the kid golfing, take him out, learn about him, see how we can help him. But while we're doing that, even if it's as simple as mowing the yard or washing the dishes or whatever. I mean, we're going to start small, but like, I want to get to the point where it's like, my mom needs a car. Well, we've just paired with this dealership. I have $2,500 down. They have $2,500 down. We're going to get you a car to get you to A and B. I mean, that's the goal of the brand. It's really the fluff and duff and the golf and all that shit's fun. But that's just the start,
I got you. So what was it like coming up with the names and the plan for your businesses? That's always like, I like to kind of get into that. It was
I can tell you right now, Fluff and Duff was so fucking hard, bro. 'Cause there's so many golf companies, dude. You get bogey, ace, par. I mean, every single word is taken. And that's when I kind of really knew that I was really like about this shit and really like doing it, because it took me fucking like 2 months to figure out a name out. I mean, I was just Googling everything and just like, I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like this. And, like I'm a 100 golfer, like I'm pretty average, subpar. I don't know. But, I just enjoy the game so much. And like, I always used to duff it. Do you know what a duff is in golf?
No.
So it's the worst shot you can hit. The ball's here and it's just it's just a dud. It goes 2 feet and fucking doesn't even get off the ground.
Okay.
And so I've done that so many times. And then like, there's this thing with amateur golfers where, you got like 2 balls on you at all times, because you might just lose your ball and you kind of throw yours down and kind of fluff it up a little bit. Fluffing the ball is illegal in golf. You can't like improve your lie to go on top of the grass. But everybody does it. It's called fluffing. And so I just kind of like I was like, this is my game right here. Like fluff and duff. Like I fluff it up when nobody's looking, and then I duff it when everybody's watching. So, but it was hard though. It was super hard to come up with that name and land on it and then own it, and really decide to do that. And that's a huge thing when it comes to branding, is like the process. Like you said, like people are like, oh, I'm gonna get an LLC. Everybody's getting LLC during the fucking pandemic, and they don't realize it's like, once you get the LLC, okay, then you have to get the website, then you have to get the SEO, then you have to get the marketing. You got to sit down with like, people don't understand. Like I sit in conference rooms with my marketing team for this golf brand. Like, it's not like no little shit. You know what I'm saying? And it took investment. It took, getting investments. And just to be in those rooms, like, and to finally, like, I've been around so many millionaires and, billionaires and just successful people going to all these conferences and just always being in self-help. I'll go to that self-help conference. I'll go to Tony Robbins, and, Jim Rohn, things like that. But I think though, it's just like really deciding that like, am I willing to let this brand represent me, Ty Robinson? You know what I'm saying? Because that's what people are afraid of. People are like, don't you own From the Heights?
Trust me, I was at the bar one night and someone's like, I know you. You're Drake from the Heights. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
yeah. And my girl, yeah, I was with a drunk girlfriend. She was like, get the fuck away from him. Like, we don't need this.
Yeah,
like,
but like it becomes like that though, and not in a fame manner, but like people recognize you. People, oh yeah, now it's getting to the point where people are like, oh, I seen that shirt somewhere. I seen that,
Mhm.
I love your gear, whatever. But
It looks clean. I like that. I like the white and blue one.
yeah, man. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna have to get you some stuff before you go. But yeah, dude, it's just like, and all these designs are from my head. Like they're from my head only. I'm not like fucking Bad Birdie. Like I have a supplier and I can just throw darts at a fucking wall and land on a design. Like I have thousands I can choose. I just choose to do my own because it's like I have to set myself apart from I can't compete with Bad Birdie. I can't compete with East Side Golf at this point. I gotta find my lane, I gotta find my niche. And when
Mhm.
you realize that and you're not trying to be Nike from fucking month 3, like give yourself realistic, attainable goals and just bust ass to actually make it work.
Oh, for sure. That's like one thing I kind of learned with this is like just everything, learning everything on your phone mentally. Like I was like, my biggest thing is like, it was always like you probably never knew this, but I was always I'm going to do this. I'm going to say I'm going to do this. And I don't do that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so like, oh, I'm going to be this business person or I'm going to start an e-commerce business. I'm telling all these people and I was like, I'm just a fucking talker at this point.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
finally, when it came down to actually starting it and starting the brand, and I was like, oh shit, I have to carry all this weight.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually,
Hey, now like this is the biggest thing. Something I learned probably 10 years ago, but you always used to see in the movies like you go into the boss's office and he got his feet on the desk, right? And everybody's like, oh, it must be nice. But it's like then when I became the boss, I realized how heavy them fucking feet are to lift up on that desk. And that's why they stay like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Mhm.
just like you don't realize the amount of decision making that it takes to be a entrepreneur and a visionary and a husband and a brother and a son. And it's like you have to be able to delegate. Like that's the biggest thing. It's like you have to be able to delegate your time, split your time up. Like I said, like what happens when the boss says, hey, I'm not going to be in the office tomorrow? Everybody fucks off, does what they
oh,
want,
yeah.
but it's like I can't do that. Like I have to come home with work. I have to sit in that office. And like I said earlier, like nobody's gonna fucking tell me whether I do it. I'm just gonna not make no fucking money. That's it. Like, and I could do that for a little while and then go apply and get a job. Like,
Yeah.
and there's been times, bro. There's been times where I've been like, fuck, dude, like I might need to go jump in a machine for another guy. Like, like shit's getting scary. Like, I'll be real. I'll be 100% with you, bro. Like, this is the life of an entrepreneur. It's like February, I invested in a snowplow. Didn't snow at all last month. Just completely fucked me. I probably made like $800 last month. Now, obviously, got savings, whatever. But up until 2 weeks ago, and then boom, I got a $12,000 check. Like that's the fucking roller coaster people get on, and it's like those are the highs and the lows, and it just makes it to where it's like you can you withstand those highs and lows? You know what I'm saying? Like what keeps you going? Because there's gonna be another low. Like, dude, it's like the stock market. Everybody who invests and gets scared, those are like unsuccessful people. Because you invest a little bit and you think it's gonna hit, and then shit starts getting a little shaky, and you think the stock's gonna drop, and so you jump out. Oh nope, no, I'm gonna get back in. Well, your buddy stayed in. Your buddy kept mowing lawns with that lawn company, while you fucking put your mower in the shed because it was raining a couple days, and now you got to start all over again. But the stock was always gonna go back up. You just have to be able to withstand the bullshit,
Why do people don't want to withstand that? And that's a problem with nowadays with people like, that's what I was kind of getting.
Everybody wants the easy, like
That's the question. I was kind of like, I worded my question wrong about like starting, like, why are people worried about other people's opinions when it comes to starting a brand? That was kind of, that was the question.
Yeah.
I just worded it different. But that's my apologies.
Because like I said, man, over a gun to your head, people are more afraid of the opinions of other people. Over a gun to your head. That and public speaking.
Mhm.
And I can't tell you, God bless me with just being a naturally outgoing, communicated person. And it's been my downfall. There's been times I've been kicked out of class and like, I talk too loud. A lot of people say I talk too loud, but I'm not afraid to fucking get up and speak at all. And that confidence of being able, that means I can go anywhere I want and I will always feel comfortable. Minimum. Not safe wise, awareness, whatever, danger, but like dealing with people, interpersonal communication. It's like I don't have to worry about going into a store knowing that I don't know what the fuck I'm like where it is that I'm looking. I need a fucking, oil filter, but I go into AutoZone, I'm fucking scared to ask for the oil filter.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm at least I'm aware enough to know when I don't know something, and that's something that's really big. Like I was golfing today. I was golfing with my boy Derek Smith. Shout out to Derek Smith and Elliot. We went golfing, and like I said, like when I have a good shot, I mean it's money. When I don't, which is most of the time, I got some work to do, and that's golf. But like, there's guys that are more consistent, and like, I love the fact that we were out and Elliot was like, do you mind if I give you some pointers, man? I said, please give me pointers. And he's like, dude, you're like the first person that's ever said please. And I said, yeah, because I'm fucking different than everybody else.
I'd say a lot of people can't take that.
Like that's where you went. That's where you learn the winning mentality.
If I'm doing something wrong, if not doing something wrong, but if you can kind of just give me a little, like I'm saying, even like after this, like every time I've done a podcast or something, like even after this, we'll have a conversation. Like, where in that conversation did you think I can improve? I asked Pooh, I asked Trey, I have asked every single person that I've done an interview with. If it's just 30-second conversation, like where did I screw up and like where I could improve
because that's where you actually grow. Because but that's like I said though, that comes with the opinion of others. I'm asking you your opinion. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if the number one fear in the world is the opinion of somebody, people can't ask for coaching because all coaching is my opinion based on my experience and my knowledge on what you should do. That's all coaching is. Because nobody fucking knows everything. So I'm just saying I'm either more consistent at developing good athletes than I am bad. And I think it's just the simple fact that it makes it very hard to be uncoachable. A lot of kids at West are uncoachable. And I think that happened for a long time. And I think it's from the home and from, just not learning those skills. But like to be able to be coachable, like it's just something that like I want to be good. If I'm gonna fucking bowl, if I'm gonna fucking shoot guns, like I went and shot a fucking Desert Eagle last week, dude. It was ridiculous, 50 caliber pistol. And even there, I'm at the range with fucking the biggest handgun you can fucking own. And I'm not in there like, yeah, move, all right, like, trying to fucking do my thing. I'm like, you tell me what's gonna happen here. You show me because I want to learn the best way possible. You're the fucking instructor at the range. Like, so it's just a willingness to place yourself next to, you don't have to be, you don't have to be beneath somebody to be coached by them. You just need to place yourself next to them. Because if we're both looking down the road, we both got to stand next to each other. I don't fucking know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And so I think people have this fear of being beneath people. And I'll be beneath people. I don't give a fuck. If they're successful, if they're more successful than me, or they're...
Why wouldn't you want to learn from them to get in that shoe? Because I think about it, there was a post that a millionaire won't judge you for starting a business, but a random person or a friend...
Somebody who fucking is in debt will fucking tell you it's a bad idea.
Yeah, a millionaire won't judge a billionaire won't judge a millionaire. A millionaire won't judge someone for starting a business. No. But a random person or a friend will judge you for starting something.
Yeah, like I do executive driving. I haven't for a while, but my buddy owns an executive driving business here in town, and I mean it's the top 1% of Omaha, is who we're driving, and we're all like executive protection. I've done a lot of high risk asset protection and different stuff with overseas contractors, and So it's very high level people. I mean, lawyers, doctors, school board,
Oh yeah, the
coaches,
real shit. Yeah.
celebrities, and all of them in there, and they're all different people. Some of them are assholes, some of them are bitches, some of them are fucking awesome. And but the more that I was consistently driving, I would pick up the same people because you get to know them, you know their house, their address. You don't even need to put it in, whatever. And so many of them, dude. It's like when I would tell them that I was doing like the golf brand or I was doing this, it was never, I don't think at any point in time did I hear anything negative about trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like they might have said, oh, that's a tough industry, but if I was going to do it, I'd do it this way. Or I tried to do that, it didn't work, like, or whatever. But most of the time they're like, yeah, so like, what's your plan with it though? I mean, like your mom said, it, like, dude, successful people, wealthy people, they don't got fucking time to like hear why and this and that. Like they're like, how do you plan to do that? Like, I mean, obviously you care about it. Like, I don't need to ask you why you want to do it. How are you gonna do it?
Mhm.
And I think that's just a huge thing that so many people don't step back and look. Like I say all the time, like people zoom in to a microscope so deep, they forget what the fuck they're looking at. Like you're looking at like a fucking ant's eye, but it started on the ant. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to zoom out and see the big picture sometimes to understand where it is that what is it that I'm looking at. Let me zoom out and then let me zoom back. Now I can
Mhm.
go back in because I remember what I'm looking at. You know?
And that's the thing too. It's like even from the town we're from, is that anyone trying to start something, it's immediately like boom, like that you
You're
a
getting
pod,
I mean,
you're
fucking two steps down the fucking road, you're hitting a wall.
yeah, and it's like as soon as you try to start something, so everyone got an opinion about it,
Yeah.
and it's like you're hating me or hating on me for trying something,
Yeah.
and it's like NBA players, NFL, if they tried, they succeeded. That's the reason why they are where they're at.
Yep.
And you're hating on me or you're talking down on me for
But you
simply
love them. But you
yeah,
love
but you
them
love
though.
them. But it makes so it kind of makes
Yeah.
me realize a lot. And it's like I've lost a lot of friends even doing something like this because it's like, you know,
Dude,
the ones that do support you support the hell out of you.
And the biggest thing is when you start something like this, and like I said, like I'm not asking every one of my friends to buy a Fluff and Duff shirt or hire me as their contractor. But why wouldn't you?
Yeah, if you
What's really going on here? Because it's like, why wouldn't you? If I knew my buddy was a fucking plumber and I had a leak, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna Google somebody. I'm gonna call the dude from high school that I graduated with and never talked to in my life. You wanna know why? Because we went to high school together. We already have something in common. Like, it's not that hard. And I just feel like it really just, I don't know, man. It's so hard, dude. Because like I
Yes.
said, man, like there's nothing that I can see that you wouldn't support for somebody who just has an honest business with an honest product or service. Like, I mean, if you're not like fucking out here doing something illegal or dangerous or whatever, but it's like outside of that, like if you own a nail boutique or whatever, like I'm going to at least tell people to go to you,
Mhm.
like I said, and I need to be better about it. And I've been wanting to be better about it. And I'll tell you though, like, especially being here in Omaha, like the one thing that was nice is like, like all the hating that you get from the people back in Sioux City. One, the problem is there's just not enough fucking people. Cause see, here in Omaha, there's 1 million people
Mhm.
compared to what? 300?
Yeah, something like that.
So it's
Probably
like
something like that.
my motherfucking friends ain't about to make me a fucking millionaire. I know that. So I need to focus on the 1 million other people that I can reach.
Mhm.
And I just stopped really like caring, I guess, like because like I said, like especially like being in the nightlife and I was running a nightclub and it really helped me grow my resources and my Rolodex of just knowing people
Yep.
because you had to fucking talk to me to get in the fucking club. But after that, like, when I started these other businesses, there's a few people that I support and stuff, but that's a huge thing that I was gonna bring up too is I think I can't even remember when I stopped drinking. I think it's like 18 or 19 months now. But it's like when you get out the club and you got a flat tire, are you calling that fucking person from the club? No. Why? Because the only thing you got in common is the fucking club.
Yeah.
They're not helping you, you know, and I'm not saying you don't make friends and lifelong partners and whatever, you know, in the club, but I'm just saying, you know, my point is just like, when I started doing this and then, you know, going down to the club, it was almost like there was nothing to talk about because you have a normal job. You fucking hate your job.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, you're here because you hate something in your life. And that's all we would really come here. And we would bond and everybody's, you know, jiving. You got your, you know, your homeboy you see once at the gym and then once at the club, you know, and you good, you know, you'll fight for each other or whatever. But it's like on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, you're not seeing him. He's not in your life at all. So it's just, you know, getting out of that, I noticed how much support I lost and how many people, if I was still down doing my thing, I probably, my brand would probably be bigger because it's just so weird. It's so cliquey. It's cliquey everywhere, you know. And Omaha's done so much for me, though. I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at, and I can only say that because it's where I'm at now. But it's just like I can't say that I could quit my job and try to do a contracting company in Sioux City. I just can't say that because there's not enough people. None of the people that are hiring me do I know at all, you know? So there's not so much judgment on that. And I don't know, man. I think it's just the fact that I've never paid attention to people not like supporting me in the aspect of like it constricting me from doing what I want to do. Like I might clock it, you know, like I'm like, all right, you know, I know not to hit that person up. And that's another big thing is, you know, scheduling, you know, photo shoots and different things and like shit comes up and that's fine. And, you know, if somebody can't make it, but it's like, you know, even for the photo shoot, like I asked like probably 40 guys, you know, and it's a lot to juggle. And like I said, like I don't blame anybody that wasn't there and I wanted everybody there. But it was just, you know, just the fact that it's like, once again, this is my moment. If nobody else fucking shows up, are we just gonna all go home? No, you know. And we rented out. Well, we didn't even rent out. We were given our own private nine. So Indian Creek is where the Corn Ferry plays. The Pinnacle Bank. It's the PGA like G League. So it's the biggest tournament that comes here, and it's ridiculous. And to get on that golf course, you know, shout out to Indian Creek because I mean, we brought a whole video team out there, and I'm thinking, you know, I had asked every golf course in the city to do the same exact thing. Hey, we're a local brand. We'd love to highlight your course and also, you know, get out there and get some footage. Nobody replied. I mean, a couple did and they were too busy or whatever, but for the best fucking, I mean, they're the best public course and obviously championship pro course. I mean, there's private clubs that are amazing, but for them to like roll the carpet out, I mean, they gave us hats, they gave us 6 golf carts on a busy day that's golfing on like it's $150 a round at this course. It's not fucking where I golf today. That was $60, you know. And they 4 hours, our own 9 on the best course that pros play on. It's just crazy. But it's like if nobody showed up, would I just fucking pack everything up and say, sorry guys, it's just me? They'd be like, aren't you fluff and deaf?
Yeah.
You know, like, isn't this your shit anyways? But, you know, so it's a lot of that, man. I tell my brother all the time, dude, like, get comfortable being alone. Get comfortable being alone, dude. Like, if I wasn't working out with my wife, and you know the team aspect, like, I love, like, I've had lifting partners, and there's nothing against anybody to why I don't now or wouldn't, besides my wife, but, like, because I can go down to that fucking gym at that clubhouse and get it and not fucking worry about nobody else. Like, you know, those are the things that's like, a lot of people are like, oh, where are you working at, bro? I'm trying to work with you. And I'm like, nah, I'm trying to find a job nobody has. You know what I'm saying? Because that means I'm only going to make as much as you. And unless you got a plan to become the CEO like I do, we don't got the same plan here, you know? And then that's okay,
Yeah.
you know? But I always said, man, the one thing before we end this, I want to make sure I say this. It's not what you know, And it's not who you know. It's what you do with who you know.
That was gonna be my question. Is like the Cody and Kayla said that exact same thing. It's like it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. But I kind of like what you just said.
Well, because here's the thing, though. Here's a perfect example why that is semi-true. And this is why most people believe, because they're not looking deep enough. See, I can know Drake, and I want to be a podcaster, but I don't ever ask Drake how to become a podcaster. So what the fuck do I know Drake for?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know somebody that could help me, but I'm not doing anything with the person I know. So what the fuck is the point of knowing them?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like, it's not what you know or who you know. It's what you do with who you know. Because if I know Drake has a podcast and I want to start a podcast, all I got to do is ask the right person the right question and I'll get the right answer. I'm not like, you know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
and it's like, for a while, and I'll be honest, dude, for a while, I was really I was in a very manipulative point in my life. And when I say that, like, I was trying to get everything from everybody. I was getting real, like, this is post-pandemic. Like I said, like, just in a time where, like, I was around a bunch of people who everybody was trying to take from everybody and bite off of what you got going on and not tell you. And, like, instead of partnering and just doing it together kind of thing. And so, like, I remember I was on this sales call. It was with, I can't remember his name, but he owned a contracting company in Sioux City. And I was doing marketing at that time. And that's how that's TRX Strategy started out as a marketing company.
Okay.
So I had taken the Ty Lopez course. I had signed a couple clients, and I was trying to get this dude, and he would have been my biggest client. Like, he was averaging like 50,000 a month. So I knew he had the budget. And he told me, he was like, so we got on the call, we talked, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, things just didn't kind of work out. I sent him the estimate, and he was like, yeah, we'll do that here in a little bit. And then I had called him like a couple months later or something. And of course, quit, gave up. And he said, dude, like, you sound 10 times different. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, when we first got on that call, I could smell the desperation on you from Sioux City on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, I could smell that all you wanted was my fucking money, man. And that just hit me, because after that, I just changed everything. And now, of course, God is in everything I do, and I just give it to him, and I don't really, worry about the money. But, like, when I stopped focusing on the money and what somebody else can do for me, the money just started coming.
Okay.
It wasn't hard because if you help enough people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. It's just inevitable. And, and like I said, like, I don't say that like backhandedly, like, all I do is help everybody because I want a bunch of IOUs. No, I mean, I naturally want to do that anyways, but it's just simple things like that, though, that people don't understand. Like, you don't know who you're holding the door for.
That part.
Damn, that was good. That
was fire.
That was good. That was good, man.
That was fire.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know who you're holding the door for, and that person could change your entire life. And you're too bashful. You don't know how to look somebody in their eyes, say hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'll literally get mad at fucking cashiers, bro. If I walk up to the counter, I always say, how are you? Always. How are you? I don't say hi. I said, how are you? Because I don't saying hi, we're already going to greet each other.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, how are you? And, most 90% of people, they don't even fucking answer me. And I'm like, oh, so you must be doing that bad. And they're like, wait, what? I'm like, I asked you how you were and you didn't say anything. And they're like, oh, no, sorry, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, it's just like, dude, like,
Yeah.
You're in fucking customer service. You greet people as they pay you. That's your job. And to not even have that awareness or, just outward expression, I guess you could say, that comes, like I said, people don't want to look each other in the eye. People don't want to, hold the door for people. Like, dude, especially out here, bro, rush hour traffic, the way people drive.
Scary.
I let everybody in.
Mm-hmm.
I let everybody in.
Yeah.
I usually stay in my lane. I'm not out here bouncing around doing shit. I stick to the plan. I get where I'm going. Because here's the thing. If you need a fucking speed, you need to leave earlier. If you got a fucking bum rush, blitz out a fucking goal, then that means you didn't prepare enough to just go the fucking pace.
Mm-hmm.
You should always just be able to go at your pace. And you can always raise your pace and reevaluate and say, could have done that quicker or whatever. But it's like just being at a pace, like they say, successful people walk, what is it? It's like 50% faster than average people. So if you're just walking on the sidewalk, naturally leaders are going to lead. Those who fall back and fall into line are the ones that normally would follow. And I'm not saying that's, 100%, but people that are successful, they move like they got shit to lose.
Oh, trust me.
I think that's the biggest thing. When I was at the club, I was like, what the fuck do these people have to lose?
Yeah.
You ain't got shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, and some of them do. Some of them fucking way more rich than me. It's just that's their lifestyle, whatever. But it's like 90% of the people I was fucking with, I'm like, dude, like nothing in your life is anything that I fucking want.
Mm-hmm.
So what the fuck are we doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is we doing, dude? Like, and so, yeah, man, it's just crazy to think, like I said, like it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's what you do with who you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll take back a moment where I met my girlfriend's uncle. Shout out to Junior. He's a big chief operating officer up in Washington.
Nice.
And she kept telling me about him, like, you need to meet him, you need to meet him, you need to meet him. And I was just like, and I wasn't trying to like have an ego about it.
But you were.
But I was just like, no, I was just like, am I like,
am I ready? Am
I ready? Like,
yeah.
You told me so much about him already. And like, on top of it, I'm also Dakota's little brother. Like Dakota was the high school jock. I was a Call of Duty player. He was
right.
He was, so it's like, I've always been the person that was like scared to talk to someone. And so I kind of had that little moment again. So finally I was just sitting there and we're at the Hard Rock. He was staying at the Hard Rock. He was kind of sitting there just drinking his whiskey. And she was like, Drake, go talk to him. And like, he's like 2 people down from me.
Yeah.
And she's like whispering. She's like, Drake, go talk to him. And I was like, babe. Like,
shut up, don't be,
I was like, babe. Now, so finally I was like, you know what? Fuck it, dude.
He's busy right now.
Yeah. I'm making every excuse not to talk to a man 2 people down from me. And so finally I just sat there and I was like, you know what, dude? Like, I'm done being fucking like, she's like, Drake, you literally do a fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Like you talk to a fucking camera. Like, go fucking talk to him. So finally I was like, fuck it, dude, let's do it. So I walk up to him and he's like, FedEx. I hear FedEx and I was like, I fucking panicked. And I look back and he's just like, come here.
You're like, is the res here?
Yeah. So like, I like get up. So I walk up to him. He's like, like, tell me about yourself. And I was like, oh, I'm Drake Williams. Like I'm Angelica's boyfriend. And so like, I'm kind of like stuttering. I'm like nervous. And he just like, chill. Like
chill.
Like
chill.
Just
dude, the stage fright, I can't remember what they call it, but like the shell shock, of like just meeting people. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's, and there's times and there's people, like, don't get me wrong, that I've done it, but a lot of times I've just been drunk. Like when I met Terrence Crawford, I was drunk as fuck and like, sorry, Terrence. But like I was outside of my mind, but like sober, like it's just a whole different, like I'm not afraid. Like I'm looking forward to meeting you. And this is the biggest thing. Well, no, finish your thing though.
Oh, but pretty much what I was getting at is, so I walk up to him, he's like FedEx. So like after I'm talking to Angelica, like whispering, I was like, I don't know if I could talk to him. Like, I don't know. Like, what the fuck am I going to say? And she was like, Drake, you fucking do a podcast. So he calls me over, like FedEx. All I hear is FedEx. After we're having this little side conversation, I like look back and I was like, fuck. Walk up to him. I'm talking to him. I'm kind of like stumbling over my words. I'm nervous as hell. Cause like, I have no idea who this person is. All she's told me is he's some big shot up in Washington.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. And I remember I'm talking to him. I was like, well, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a CEO of a casino up in Washington. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I'm talking to a chief operating officer right now.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I just immediately just kind of like took a breath and I was like, you know what, dude? Like, I'm literally having a one-on-one conversation with a dude that's running a multi-million. Yeah. And so I kind of was like, okay, like, let's do this. Like, let's figure it the fuck out. And I remember just talking to him about, he's like, well, what do you do? And I was like, he's like, do you just work for FedEx? And I was like, of course, like having that brand. And you back here and it's like, do I tell him about it? How's he going to treat me in the moment?
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I do a podcast. He's like, oh, you do a podcast? And he's like, well, tell me about it. So I tell him about it. He's like, well, show me your page. He's like, how much subscribers do you have? And I was like, well, I just started it, so it's a little bit low. I was like, but my numbers though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
The organic shit's good.
Yeah. And he's like, you know what? He's like, you just gained my respect because you didn't care about the views. You didn't care about the likes, but you cared about the analytics of your product. And I like that about you.
That's a huge thing that a lot of people are like, do you know your numbers?
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Like, what's your 90-day, 120 projection? You know,
Yeah.
and like, people don't fucking know.
And so we started talking about that, and he was just like, and he started off as a housekeeper.
See?
And then, so that's why I kind of like, when you start telling me, we start opening up a little bit more, and I was like, dude, he was basically me. Like, just kept figuring shit out.
Do you see what I mean when I say don't ever place yourself beneath somebody, but place yourself beside them?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Because when you go into a conversation and you stand beside a millionaire, because he's talking to you just like you're talking to him, you know, and they want to see that confidence out of you. That's the last thing they want to see is somebody who's I hate to say it, and I'm not to their level to say it as if I know, but it's like, they're almost like, dude, you're kind of wasting my fucking time here because like, you're not confident in what you're saying. I don't even know what you're trying to say. Mm-hmm. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like placing yourself next to those people. Cause I had a client that I drove, and he owns one of the largest dealerships in probably within 5 hours of us. And he owns just a serial entrepreneur, mega millionaire. And I used to drive him. And like I said, like some guys that just drive, they don't shut up, don't do nothing, you know, like I'm obviously not that guy at all. I want to know how your day's going, what's up, where are you going? Oh, we're going golfing, you know, and you read the room. I mean, you can tell when people want to talk and when they don't, but you know, just getting to know him, and he was such a great guy, and just seeing his life, because that's the number one thing you see is like what real wealth, like I'm pulling up on the fucking tarmac behind Epley to a fucking Learjet with a family of 5, private jet to fucking Florida kind of shit, you know? So it's not the average Uber shit. And, you know, long story short though, is I ended up bumping into him at his restaurant, and he goes, Ty, what the fuck? How are you, man? Like, and like I said, like, you never know how these people would act when you're not in the truck or whatever, you know, when they're paying you to be nice to them. And, you know, but from that moment on, like the way that we connected, and like, you know, my wife worked at the restaurant for a while. And so I would always see him. When I would approach him, we start actually like texting back and forth. Like, I'm texting this fucking dude who's probably worth $70 million. And like, it's not just like short shit, you know, it's like, oh, heading with the buddies, going to Vegas. When I get back, let's talk, you know, cause he was really interested in the golf brand and stuff. And, you know, but I placed myself next to him. So I was his friend. I mean, probably not, you know, but like when I was around him, like people were like, you know him? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's, you know,
Yeah.
Like
the cool thing about the junior thing too is where he ended up giving me his number that day. Mm-hmm. And so we're talking, he was like, so I'm like, obviously like I'm more comfortable. I'm like confident. And he's just like, where do you see your podcast in the next 10 years? He's like, well, how far do you want to take it? And I was like, I want to take it to the moon. And he was like, you know what? Take my number down and we can start chatting more.
Watch when you fucking hit a certain number.
And I literally sat there and like, and so what I'm leading up to is a lot of my girlfriend's family doesn't have his number. And so I remember like I was hanging out with Angelica. We're walking in somewhere and she was like, oh, we're going to head there. Someone needs to call Junior. So they're obviously trying to like message him on Facebook and shit like that. And I was like, you want me to call him? And then they're like, everyone just goes like this. And I was like, well, what? Like, you have his number? She's like, do you know how private this man is? Like, do you actually know?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't give his number out to people. I was like, when'd you get it? I was like, when I met him at the casino. Like,
but you see how relaxed you are in that moment? Because it's like, you place yourself next to him finally. Yeah. And it's like, oh, what do you mean? I'll just call him real quick. And like, that's the other thing, dude, is like being successful is being unreachable. You have to be, bro. You have to be unreachable to, and I'm not like saying, family or friend or whatever,
Yeah.
that is what it is. But it's like, it's just the fact that it's like, you have to be able to love some people from afar. You have a goal. If you don't fit in this goal for this period of time, I'm locked in, but it's just awesome because how awesome did it feel when you realized that you could reach somebody who was unreachable?
Yeah. When I walked out and she was just like, so what do you guys talk about? And I was like, fucking everything. Like he was talking to me about coming up to Seattle to do a podcast with them.
See?
And she was like, what the I was like, and that's the thing, he's like, and he's told me, he's like, so much people have asked me to do a podcast. He's like, and this is my next question to you is, but what I was getting at was, so I break it down. I'm a little intoxicated. I have a few beers. I'm not a drinker. I can have 2 beers and I'm drunk. That's my limit for the night. And so I have my 2-3 beers. I'm a little buzzed. I can feel myself buzz. And he asked me the question. He's like, what? He's like, I've had multiple people ask me to do a podcast. Why should I do one with yours? So it's pretty much like, sell me the pen.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't know what in that mindset I said, or I forgot what I said, but I ended up leaving the casino with this number. And I was just like, and I remember telling Ange that, and she was just like, how the fuck did you get his number? And I was like, I don't remember what I said, but he must felt comfortable
that
enough.
liquid courage, man.
Yeah.
Like you were in that moment. You were in that moment.
Yeah. Ended up sending him a bottle of Shannon Sharp, Shea by Le Portier.
Yeah.
Sending him cigars and everything like that. And I was like, I put a note in there. I was like, when I come do your podcast, we're going to have a glass of this.
See, but that's the type of shit, bro. That's the type of shit I'm talking about, where it's just like so many people don't understand, like, loss leaders, like a loss leader in sales is like, I'm going to lose a little bit up front. I'm going to give this away. I'm going to, because I'm going to get them on the back end of things. And, when it comes to relationships, and like, you have to groom those relationships. You have to court them almost, because these people are unreachable. So it's like, hey, I just wanted to, send you some stuff. Just wanted to, let you know I was thinking about you, whatever, because that type of shit shows them that you're willing to invest. Mm-hmm. You're investing into him, and he knows that. Yeah. Because he don't need you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's the reason why I was like, I was telling Ange this, I was like, if I could sit down with him for like 3 days, I promise you, I'll be
a fucking millionaire.
I'll be a millionaire. I promise.
By the end of the year.
I was like, if I could sit down with him, I was like, in that 30-minute conversation, like, and that's where I kind of took into like not being scared no more. Cause it's like, I just talked to a man that probably is worth triple than I'm fucking worth right now.
Oh no. They're like,
and I was
1,000 times over.
And it's like, in the fact that he took 10 seconds to ask me, why should I do a podcast with you?
What did you say to him?
I don't
don't
remember. That's the thing.
It.
It's like, but I was like,
I'm so interested now. I'm like,
trust me. That's where it's like, dude, it's like, how do I have your number now to where I can just make a phone call to you or FaceTime you about, he's a Raiders fan, Max Crosby.
And the biggest, and I'm a Ravens fan. So
yeah, I'm a Ravens fan too. So
hey, let's go to a game this year.
We have to.
But dude, it's crazy because it's like those people, they want to see movement.
But say he wasn't, let's say, have to talk to a millionaire like that, like, there wasn't like whatever. It's like, no, like, let's actually hear this thing.
You're listening.
Yeah, you can.
When you talk to normal people, you hear them, but you don't listen.
Yeah.
You talk to somebody like him, it's like you're articulating what he's saying.
I was like, no, so I remember I texted him. I was like, hey, man, don't know if you're in office today, but I sent you a package, and it was a late Christmas gift. And I just told him, I was like, happy belated Christmas, happy New Year, looking forward for that conversation. I remember just texting him. I was like, hey, bro, I sent you this. And he was like, you didn't have to do that. And I was like, that little conversation we had meant more to me than you probably ever know.
Yeah.
Because it's like now I can talk to people. I can walk up to people and not have that little fear. Because it's like, this dude gave me 60 seconds.
That's all you needed, dude.
And that's all I needed. And then even my co-host, Ned, he even kind of gave me some recognition. He was like, I've never seen you. Because he's always seen in Dakota. Because we all grew up together.
Right.
And so he's like, I've always seen Dakota have that little like that mentality.
Yeah.
And he's like, to see you have it now is kind of different. And I was like, he's like, and I love that about you now because like you have that I'm gonna figure it the fuck out method. And he's like, and a lot of people don't have that. So I was like, you know what, dude?
That's the biggest thing I learned, man, is like coming from a family with like my grandpa being an entrepreneur and just a high level person, my whole life, I should say, he has the means to help everybody, and he always has. But as we got older, I remember, and I still have it in my wallet, but he said something along the lines of like, I have the ability to keep bailing you out, but what's your actual plan? Like, why, if you're not going to help yourself, why am I helping you? And that just stuck with me. It's still in my wallet to this day. And it just, success loves movement, and people that are successful love to at least see movement. They're not saying that you have to be
The
10
richest.
to 10 levels over where you were the last time you talked to him, but the next time that her uncle checks in with you, he's going to want to see movement. He's going to want to see what you've been up to. And, if you met him and it was episode 20, wherever.
Like,
but if you were like, oh, it's 8 months and it's episode 25, he'd be like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, so
what's changed since the time we had this talk from here
every
to
time
now?
I see you, I want to see that you're, and not just busy. Like, dude, people, they overuse busy and misinterpret what it is. Busy has no direction.
Never.
Busy as a bee, right? Like, bees
Yeah.
just fucking fly around and pollinate shit. Like, I mean, they got.
If you wanted to figure it out, you figure it.
But
the
it's
fuck out.
like, it's about being productive, not being busy. Because
Trust me, I have too much friends that be like, I'm busy. It's like, what the fuck are you actually doing?
yeah, and see,
I
that's
know
the
you're
thing.
lying.
And that's the thing is when people say, "Oh, I got busy," and not that they weren't working on $1 million plan, but like most of the time, like I didn't like successful people will be specific, and where they'll say like, "Hey, I have a meeting from this time to this time." Like I like being unreachable. So I started wanting to because there was like people in the city and guys I would meet that were super dope. They're high level guys, and like you said, I get their number, and I'm like, oh shit, I got that dude's number, and be trying to link up with them, and I'm like, dude, like this dude's just fucking never available. Like, how am I, and then that one time comes and we actually, I'm going to make the time to hang out with him, but I do. And then you get it to know him more and you're like, fuck, now I get it. Like, you're locked in. So he's just like, yeah, man. It's not that I don't fuck with you. Like, I've been working fucking 12-hour days, 8 days a week, and so that's when, because I find myself doing it, and I don't want to be just like those type of guys in the aspect of, like you said, like childhood friends, people that are not as successful. They're not as driven. They're not like, they're where they're at and they're okay.
They're comfortable.
And, I don't want to be that guy that's, like I said, ever too busy to pull the car over, pull the truck over and help. And I think that goes, like, my whole business is around helping people in crisis. I tried out for the fire department, the Omaha Fire Department, and I trained for like fucking 6 months, dude. Like, I was like 60-pound bag on the fucking stair stepper, like, doing everything. And unfortunately I didn't make it, but like, the day I got the email that I didn't make it, like there was like a crash or something, and somebody, like the ambulance was there, but I was like, so you're telling me that I'm not good enough to get out and fucking help this person right now? Like, that's how I felt, because I'm like, I will pull over to a burning fucking car. Like, I've seen accidents in front of me and ran a fucking block down to that stoplight and cut fucking people out of their car and, got them out safely, whatever, and so, but I wasn't doing it because like, oh, fucking Channel 6 was going to be here in 10 minutes. Like, like I wasn't like doing it so I could post it. Like, that's a reactionary thing. That has to come quick. And you see who the bystanders are in those, even in times of crisis, bro, a fucking, God forbid, dude, if you're in an active shooter situation or a natural catastrophe that happens quickly, you're going to see who hesitates. You're going to see who's seasoned to do it. And I'm not saying or judging anybody that hesitates, because you can even train for things and still not be ready for them in the moment. But I'm just saying, like, the action takers, like you're going to see who really steps up for people. And it's not always that successful business guy. You know, he's too worried. Oh, nope. So sorry. No, get away from me. Like, it's like just being a human, having humility and, just really wanting the best for other people. Like, that's what I hope that I, continue to try to strive for.
For sure, for sure. One thing, so we're kind of coming up to the end of the show.
Yep.
Is let's kind of dig into the married life.
Okay.
So you and your girl have been together for almost 13 years. Met her when you were 20, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep.
So what's it been like that 13 years? Give me a little, like, some good relationship advice. Like, obviously, I'm in a fresh relationship. We're going on a year now. You have 13 years. So,
Man, I think, it's crazy because it's like, yeah, to say like the whole 20s, like some of the most formative times of your life where,
sure.
Like it's so crazy to say like we've both seen so many different phases in life and jobs and, just everything. And it's like really to like know because people here, they're like, dude, 13 years, man, like, damn. And I'm like, that's kind of crazy to say that like it's that crazy 13 years with somebody, not 20, 20 to 33. That is fucking a crazy time to be together that consistently. But I think it's just like, dude, you gotta choose them. And like, I always say this, but it's like everybody puts up with bullshit. It's just who you got to choose that person worth putting up with their bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like we all have bad days. We all have, down days and then horrific moments in our lives. And, who's that person that's really going to be there? Because at the end of the day, like she stood by me through this business thing. Like I said, I mean, we've been up, we've been down, every direction, getting everything figured out. And, like my buddy Derek, shout out to Derek, he just got married. It's just like, even he was like, dude, like you just feel like you have to live for somebody else, like in girlfriend, whatever, like, cause we were to the point where, I don't know, maybe year 8, like she was like, I don't really care to get married, blah, blah, blah. Now I obviously fucked up because it's like, yeah, every girl's going to say that, but,
year 8.
But like, it's just like, we had got to that point where like, dude, this like, we're already married. We're common law at this point, like, whatever. But like, once we switched, it was like, you think about your job, you think about like how you provide as a man and, like what, like you're talking 401ks and fucking health insurance, like, it's just like a different level that like, probably being single, I don't know where I'd be at. I'm glad I'm here. But like, it's like, I don't think I would have the mindset I'd have now. And I definitely wouldn't be the man that I am,
What's something you learned about going from your relationship to a marriage now?
I would say to always like, and I know it's so like 90-year-old fucking couple, like, but honestly, like continue to be best friends. And like the biggest thing in 13 years is like, you have to make sure that you're always willing to make it like it was the first year, second year, like, because like I have friends like they're like year 5, and I'm like, oh, so it's easy right now, because it's like you can only fucking do so many horse and carriage rides before it gets old. You can only do so many fucking date nights before, like, like it's finding things inside of those things. Like, yeah, you go on the carriage ride, but maybe this time it's something like you just have to think more into it. And, coming from somebody who is horrible at planning things, and I'm sorry, I love you, Michelle. I definitely got to work on that. But, just like even things like that, like being able to just like say like, hey, I need this from you. Can you do that for me? Like, you're not going to get that from a boyfriend or girlfriend that's just going to be a boyfriend or girlfriend, especially at this stage. Where we're at in life now, like to move in with somebody, to have them drive with you out of town, like you're serious, like people are serious. You're not just fucking around. And so.
Wait, our studio is her house.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the investment into each other, and she's invested so much into me, and like.
Yeah, you had a post. It was your launch party for, I believe it was a launch party, but there's a quote I don't know why I didn't save in his phone, but you had a quote in there that says, "Behind every successful man is a woman behind that man."
Mm-hmm.
And so, like writing that post or the words I just said, like, how is that meant to you? Like, just having that person, like, because it means like a shit ton to me. It's like, obviously, like you've grown a business, you've grown 2 businesses now, not just one. You've grown 2, and she's been through the thick and thin.
Yeah.
So, like, how has that made you a better man? Is my next question.
I mean, honestly, man, it means everything. Cause like you said, like this whole time we've been talking about the lack of support when you're trying to build something people don't build every day. And to have somebody that trusted me when I said I'm not going back to work after I got a fucking DUI and I'm in jail, you know, that's just I wake up every day and it's like, all I think about is the farm and how she's not gonna ever have to work again. Like that's realistically what my goal is every day. Like I can eat shit, she can't.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I can fucking eat the rice and the fucking beans if that means she can fucking have the shrimp and filet mignon.
Mhm.
Like that's just the way that I am, and like everybody's different, like I said, and taste in life or whatever. But she's just been so supportive, and really, she literally led me to Jesus. Like when I say that, it's like I grew up in the church. I had a horrible experience, and learning how to lean on Jesus. And I
Mhm.
mean, the last 3 years of my life, literally, she's gone in Paris. And I was telling the guys on the golf course, I was like, man, like, and it's so awesome because I'm surrounded by guys that all have the same faith. And, like we're on the golf course talking about, God and Jesus. We're not on the golf course shooting shooters and, but, I was like, man, it's so crazy because like you really realize your wife is your angel, and like she's been gone for a week in Paris, and like I'm just like, oh, there's one night I didn't get on my knees and pray, or like, I should have done that and I didn't do it. And it's like just little things that I'm like, if she was here, I would just be doing them. Why? Because she's on her knees fucking praying. Like things like that, where it's just kind of like having that person that literally is your better half. Like when we're not together, it's like, oh, this is weird. Like I'm at the apartment, like I'm living half my life, like
Mhm.
I'm missing that when I come home. So, um, yeah, it's just, I think just continuing to be best friends. Don't try to end the night ever with the argument, which is hard. But when you say I do, like you gotta like just truly mean it. Like, because there's so much shit that's gonna happen in your life, and so many things that you have to get through. We've had, you know, so many friends murdered, died, or dad passed away. And, it's just like those are the moments where it's like you need to know that this is really your person, because these are traumatic events that you have to experience for the rest of your life. If we break up, I got to remember that I went through this whole experience of somebody getting killed or whatever, and so I just think it's just really having that person on your mind is probably a huge thing. And like not like, and when I say that, like, oh yeah, you should always be thinking about your partner. No,
Yeah.
what I mean is intentionally putting that on your mind and saying, what would I'm at the store, oh, I'm just gonna grab something because I know she likes cookies or whatever. Or like, just like things that just make you're thinking of the other person.
Absolutely. Because I'm saying a lot of people nowadays, like the dating world sucks, and you see it.
Dude, and I've never experienced it.
And so,
Like I've never experienced the social media online thing. Like
yeah.
such a blessing.
So I'm saying like to be obviously like I'm a single parent. Well, not now, but I have a girlfriend.
Mhm.
But from being a single parent and kind of putting myself back on the world, it's like dating world fucking sucks. And so, but now like having a partner I have now, and like, she like I'm saying they see the darkness.
Yeah.
They see the darkness. They see
And
the
you see theirs too,
in it, and it's like to see the investment she has made and the help she's had. Like, she's usually the person that takes our photos. So it's just like,
Yeah.
I've never had that. And I remember that's one thing I remember telling her uncle. He's just like, oh, we're talking about, don't fuck over my cousin,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole nine
yeah.
yard, whatever. And I remember just telling him, I was like, dude, like, it's this time feels different because it's like, I've never had someone support me ever. in a life. And it's like in past relationships, friends, everything. And I remember he's like, I don't give a fuck about your exes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I wasn't trying to get like that, but I'm just saying, like, to have someone's support, it has just never been a thing in my life. Like, obviously, like your mom, brothers, whatever. That's always
No,
gonna be
it's
that.
a whole different thing when I don't have to choose you. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like she don't have to choose me. I don't have to choose her. We chose each other. And that's the biggest thing. That's like, your brother's always going to be your brother. Your mom's always going to be your mom. You have complete freedom outside of that to live your life. Like I always say, I'll joke with my wife and I'll be like, it's just so crazy. We just like live our life. Like we just chose to live our lives together. Like, cause that's all you're doing. You're like, I'm a human being out in the forest. And I'm like, hey, would you like to just survive with me and live my life with you? Like, you know, it's just crazy to think, you know, like that's really what you're doing. You're living out your life and experiences with and through somebody else. And she's just, she's supported me so much. And, you know, that's the thing. She's making this painting. She's taken, 2 years writing a book. And, she owns her own business, her healing business. And so I think that's another thing too, is like, you either have to have somebody who's very supportive in the B-roll or somebody who just gets it, like they can't offer anything as a spouse, like other than support, but it's like, it's so amazing because she's so artistic and creative that like, she makes the signs for me. Like she, the reason I made that post on my launch party, it's like, I didn't fucking set that shit up. Like, like she's the event planner, decorator, like she takes over that, and that's where I'm saying, like, you got to have those kind of people in your life that like I always say, it's like, stop being around people who say who has that and be around people that say I got it.
That's fire. That's fire. Well, that's pretty much what I got for the day. I'm going to finish you out with these next 2 questions. Or pretty much like 3, okay? So, the first one is, what is the worst advice you've ever heard?
Man, that's so hard because it's like, I think all advice that I get, like, I don't see it as bad advice, I guess.
Yep.
So, that's what I'll probably say. The worst advice is somebody telling you, like there's bad advice, honestly, because it's like, you're giving me whatever. If it's not come from a nefarious point, you're not trying to hurt me or whatever, compete with me. It's like, you're just giving honest advice, and all I can do is accept it and decide what I want to retain from it,
For sure. What is the best advice you ever heard?
The best advice I ever heard. I'm trying to think who said it. I can't remember who said it, but if you're not going to live out your own dream, why would you expect somebody to support it?
That was fire. All right, so this is the last question of the night, okay?
Yeah.
So what I've done before in the past is, I'm not here no more. It's just you and this mic and this camera, okay? If today was your last day, what would be your message to everyone?
Truly live life to your fullest. Really go out and think about what it is that you want to do with your life and how you can do that. Don't look for any help. Don't expect any help. Figure it out on your own. Love your mom, love your family, but realize that it's your life, and the only thing that you can do is live it.
Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got the Fluff and Duff right here. You see it on the hat too. Contracting wise, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. We do all luxury interior, exterior remodeling, TRX strategies. A lot of big things coming for the ladies for Fluff and Duff. We're gonna be coming out with dresses, skirts, all the things that you ladies like on the golf course, and just keep peeping the game, man. We're just gonna continue growing. We're gonna continue doing what we do, and I appreciate all the support that I get. I appreciate all the, love that I get. And, if there's any way that I can help you, please reach out. I would love to speak to sports teams, children's programs, nonprofits. I really want to just start giving back and donating. So hit me up, man.
Anything else for the people before we go?
Like I said, man, it's your life. You got to live it.
Ty Robinson, everybody. Thanks, brother.
Yep.
That was a good one.
Turn me up.